go. So, hello everybody, and welcome to your Monday night Plastic Crack podcast. You are joined by myself, Martin, seventh son, and by he's that way, Dom from the boot room, and I'm in my own kind of.
You're in your new place.
I am in my new place.
Oh,
some of the shelves over there are a little bit empty at the minute, but
you need a new project to fill that one, Martin. That's all
you
I'm
can't
saying.
see this one here. You can't see this one here. This is the shelves of opportunity are all here with all the box sets. And then all of that is just rule books. Well, no, wait, hang on. All of that is rule books, and then reference books. But yes, we have the stuff over there. As you may see, you only have two of us tonight. Steve can't join us tonight because of personal reasons, and Ken he should have been jetting off on his honeymoon today, shouldn't he? So
should be in the air. He might be deported very soon, so it'll be all fine.
He might be. So we should probably start the stream off and say, if you'd all join us, and just give a big congratulations to Ken and Laura, who tied the knot on Friday. And we were there to witness it. Laura does exist. Dom can
yeah, she
verify.
Does exist. It's true. Yeah,
she does verify.
She's really, really nice. So I don't know what Ken's doing.
And he's on a very, very short leash. It's an ace.
Very
and we did enjoy a few bevies at his expense, didn't we? Especially, I did like the bit of the evening where he said, "I've got a tab."
Yes, well, that was particularly good. Yeah, but he kept that until middle of the afternoon, didn't he? When we'd already been buying beers, it was ridiculous.
We did. I don't know about you, but I did actually check my bank account, and from 9 o'clock I didn't buy any, so I think I just put everything on his tab.
I think I might have done the same. Yes.
Well, I know we got through a fair stack of wine, and one of Ken's elderly relatives even bought more wine to Haley when he saw that Haley was running out. So
which was a very dangerous thing to do, because then we saw Haley strutting her stuff on the dance floor later on.
Yes, we did. Actually, there was a lot of people dancing, including Ken. And we did get one token AC/DC song. So that was
called an old man. So it's brilliant. Well done.
I didn't get called an old. No, I didn't. Well, what Dom might be alluding to, and of course I haven't been on the stream since Ken Stag Do, is while we were on Ken Stag Do, I may have been called old twice on two separate nights by completely different people. One of them said, "You are the same age as my dad," and then the other one said, "Like my dad," which that was the end of that, wasn't it?
And as the oldest person there, I was really pleased to hear that. That was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I seem to. What did they say? I think you've gone past it. I think you're like a novelty now.
I think I am just complete. I was just ignored entirely, just like old people are. Really, that's all.
Did you tell them all about Ken's attempt at throwing axes on his stag do?
No, I didn't actually. No, go on.
We did take Ken axe throwing, and let's just say that he will not be in the front of the shield wall. Ken will be behind with the water, handing it out, because it was. I'm surprised.
He started really well, didn't he? He started really well, and then I think he got cocky when he was just trying to. Miller was trying to chuck him as hard as he possibly can to split the entire wall behind.
There was sparks. He threw an axe, and there was sparks.
He did. There was actually sparks, and he managed to break an axe as well, I think, didn't he?
He did, yes. We had to get it exchanged, didn't we? But that was before we went and met the Perrys. But I know you chatted about that before as well. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for joining us. Tonight's topic, we decided to do a sort of ask us anything while we do have a bit of a painted chat. And by God, there are some good questions. Some of them are a bit worrying, but you guys
have had to do some research on a couple. I haven't even read them all deliberately.
I know one or two of them. I saw one. I was like, I'm actually going to have to think. But let's see who we have in the chat. Of course, thank you very much if you're watching on the replay, and if you've bothered to turn up live, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. As old school FRP said when he kicked everything off, hit that like button now so you don't have to later. Hit it now, it would be awesome. Remember, you can find a link to the Facebook group down below. Which I should say, we hit 1,000 members, so I'm going to put up the things. Ta-da! There we go. 1,000 members strong. Thank you very, very much to everybody. So if all 1,000 of you could come over and watch our videos and like our videos, that would be ace. But no, thank you very much. We are, as you probably, if you saw the post, we could now fight in the Battle of Nilby Green on the side of Berkeley. That was it, or Berkeley. Berkeley.
I'd just like to say that's a lot of members.
That is. Thank you very much, everybody.
You're very welcome.
While Dom's chuckling to himself in the corner over there, I would just like to say hello to us. So we've got Old School FRP, Lazy Pirate Painting, Philip, Seraphim Skink Chief. Hello. I haven't seen you before, but welcome. Mobile and Hostile. I got absolutely beaten by skinks once in a game of Warhammer. I swore to I'd never play Lizardmen again because I got absolutely annihilated. Haven't Jab, Mobile and Hostile, Carl Burks, Lionheart, how you doing, dude? John Sobry, Battle Match, Shrink 7, Andrew JF, Picker City, Paul's Paint Shed. Hello, Jim Reaper's here. Hello, dude.
Hey, hello, Jim.
Rosette, Louis Baby, Paul Crouch, Nick Dawson, how you doing, dude? Rich John, John City, Mike Forsyth, Barnes White, Alex is here, Storm of Steel, hello dude, how you doing? Bindor is here, Mortzik, double every time I see double dip it makes me laugh. Mikey Sparky, Andy Shaw, John Carter, Friends of General Haig, David McCowan, Bren Flynn, Leslie's here, hello dude, Mobile and Hostile, Shakers and Sprues, I think I said Mobile and Hostile anyway, but we're going to keep with it. Joseph Robbins here, I know he's just here so you can see the room. Red Step, Nick Games, Kagamusha, hello, War Games Hobby, String 7, I think I said, and it's going to do that thing. Yep, it's done it where it jumps all the way to the bottom. Louis Baby, there we go. Anyway, if we miss you, we really appreciate you all taking the time to join in. There we go. So yes, there's been a bit of upheaval in my world. So when it comes to the next part, which is where we ask what people are doing, I have done nothing other than build bookshelves.
I was going to say, but what is it like to have your own proper space now? I know you've only had it for a couple of days.
You mean the ability to go like this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's been quite a few years since I've done that. No, it is fantastic. And the great thing is because I'm on the bottom floor and Haley's on the middle floor, the living room's upstairs. I can't be accused of getting in the way. So it's fantastic. Behind next to here we have a toilet, and next to here we have the kitchen. So I don't see any other reason, any need to move. It's
perfect. Absolutely everything you could possibly need there.
Absolutely. Frankly. It's got. I could have a game on a skirmish game in here. But if I want to have a big game, that's out on the kitchen table. So, but then you're right next to the fridge. So, what more could you want? It is very cool. I don't want to say I struggled to fill the shelves, but basically I packed things, and then I was sort of looking at them. I was like, well, do I actually want to put these on my shelves? These are just like, do you ever have like handy boxes that sometimes you stick models in for spray paint? Yeah, stuff like that. I'm just sort of like, well, I don't really want to put those out.
I know,
so they're in the shed.
Problem. Yeah, it is true. Actually, you sort of get stuff out. Well, when it first was all set up, I didn't mind, but now they're all over the place, so I don't care.
No, it's a lot of fun. I have taken over the garage as well because that's where all the terrain lives. Because I didn't want flock everywhere. But I've also, what's quite nice is over here, these books down here, those are sort of non-wargaming. You've got like two of those shelves are all Tolkien. Then there's all different bits of graphic novels and my role-playing games as well. They're all down there. And then there's just things I need to find a home for. But it's we made sure that we had everything else done first. Actually, I was told we would have everything else done first. You can't see it, but I've got art up here. One of my Graham Turner pictures is up there. Mm-hmm. And I managed to not drunk order that one at the wedding, so I was quite pleased.
It was really close. You were so close to pressing that buy button.
I was. Well, I've got one down here, but the bloody frame is too big, and I've got an A3 which is too small and an A2 which is too big. So I need to sort them out. So yeah, that's absolutely right, Rich. I'm going to fill it very soon. Leslie says, "Show us a room." I'm going to do a hobby update soon, mate, where I can go through everything that's happened, everything we've done, and I'm going to do a little tour of the room. So you'll get that then. But what I shall do is hand it. Oh, Tim said he's listening in the car with the wonderful. Hello, he's listening in the car with the wonderful wife, Mindy Grace, driving back from Wales after visiting friends. You have a safe drive, mate.
Driving, yeah. It's a bit wet and woolly out there, I think, on that coast.
It was wet everywhere. Driving back from Ken's wedding was not fun.
Oh, that was very, very wet. Mind you, it's not been too bad here today. Really,
the M25, I didn't really see any of it. I just had spray either side. I didn't really see it. I just sort of, I did that bit whereas I rely on the lights of the person in front to get that Pratt that isn't. In honor of Steve, I should just say, I've got the local news agent around me, so I thought I'd go in there and say we're drinking something called Voodoo Ranger. I thought this would be some kind of what do you call it, like Beavertown Brewery, but it's not. It just says Belgian beer on it. So what's your?
Does it taste any good?
It doesn't taste terrible.
Okay. I've just got vanilla tea here, so that's all.
Vanilla. When you say vanilla tea, do you mean there's vanilla in it, or it's just plain? Or it's just
tea? Vanilla flavored tea, black tea.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to tea?
It's rather nice actually. It's gone cold now though, so it's not so good.
Iced tea.
Iced tea, yeah, vanilla iced tea.
Vanilla iced tea. Excellent. So, as always, we shall hand over to the Project King himself, Dom, who's going to fill the next hour.
I don't think I am, because I haven't actually done a huge amount, to be completely honest, because of various things. I was away most of last week, and then Ken's wedding took up a load more. So,
you mean when we're meant to be in the same hotel? Should we tell them that?
Oh yeah, that was a classic moment. So I sent Martin a note saying, have you booked anywhere? And I got this there was a definite pause of, oh shit, I haven't even thought about that yet. So I said, well, I'm staying here. And I sent him the link to the one I was staying at. So then roll back to Friday afternoon. I arrive at said hotel and send a message saying, are you here yet? Where are you? And I get one from Haley saying, Martin's asleep. So I think, okay, fair enough.
Asleep in the car.
Asleep in the car. And I thought, it's weird. I must have walked right past them, but I didn't see them. They were in a completely different hotel, because this plonker had just seen Inn and chosen any other brand of hotel with Inn in it, which is quite a lot in Winchester, as it turns out.
As it turns out, there's quite a few. So
we're in completely different hotels, about 10 miles apart, actually, something like that.
Yeah, it seemed a lot longer on the way home, didn't it?
It did. That was a long journey back. I'm not sure how. I think we must have gone via, I don't know, Wolverhampton or something to get back in that taxi. Jeez.
I know. It was a long old way, and I can't find my Black Templar. What have I done with it?
Oh dear.
You take it forward.
I'd say you better find it quick, because I say there genuinely isn't much. I always say that, but there isn't. So what have I been up to since the last time? Some more. So I did some more for the Bruce's in Ireland project. I just finished off a couple of units of crossbows. I think I said in the video, if you saw this, that I decided I wasn't going to do many crossbow units, because I don't think they really played much of a part in that war. But I wanted to do a couple because I had them in the stash of opportunities. So I painted up 2 small units that probably will be mainly used by the Anglo-Irish over the Scots. But we'll see. They may not ever see the table, but they were there, so I thought I'd do them. I'm quite pleased with how they came out, actually.
I really like them. I do really like them. They're very nice. Are you going to run them as 2 small units?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. So I've sort of put together some stats based on Hail Caesar 2, and also using some of your War of the Roses stats, and sort of adapted it all a bit for this period. So if anybody's interested in the Bruce's in Ireland project, the army lists are on the Facebook page, so you can download them from there.
Absolutely. Fantastic. I'll be taking a look at those.
What else? I showed a separate video of this, but this was since we did the last stream, I think. This is some of the Fighting Irish from our friend Ian at Flags of War for the Border Wars set.
They do look nice.
Yeah.
I am so very tempted, but I'm resisting.
They are really nice figures, I have to say. I think that I don't think they're quite... I didn't like them quite as much as the previous ones, but that's not to say they're bad. It's just those were so absolutely amazing. These are just brilliant. So there you go. So that's my
so on the Dom scale, you're absolutely amazing, brilliant,
yes,
adequate, and then
above that is obviously Perry. See that's up there. That's the top mark. Obviously,
that's the top.
Yeah. So I did them. What else did I did? I did some train. I know there's some questions around terrain, nice. So I did some marshy areas, which were fun to do.
Very
actually.
Cool. Did you are those pre-built or
they're silicone type resin things?
Are they flexible?
No, they're completely hard. So I guess they must be resin rather than silicone. Thinking about it, so yeah, I just built them up with lots of dry brushing, really from a base of brown, and worked it through to a bit lighter one, and then used some of that what is it called? The water effect stuff from War Games, from Woodland Scenics, isn't it? That's the one. Poured that in. I think it came out quite well. I've got another
really
one.
Good.
Yeah, so
really good. No, you could use them for loads of different things.
Loads of things. Yeah. That's what I thought. And then I can't remember how far I got with my Dux Britannia Force showing it off. So there's the whole thing finished. There you go.
Ooh, look at that. That's cracking. That's a lot. I think that's far more than you need.
I suspect it is, but you know how it is.
I mean, to be fair, you would get a lot of that in reinforcements, like the cavalry at the back. They turn up as reinforcements. You need 3, as the British, you need 2 units of warriors, which are 2 units of 6. They need 1 unit of 6 elites, and then 2 units or 3 units of just levy. So you've got of 6s as well, because it's all 6s. So you've got plenty, and then you get guys back in 1s or 2s. So that's plenty. I've been chatting to Paul, Paul's paint shed, Paul Richardson. We're going to be having a go at ducks at some point. So that would be cool. Actually, that was the first models I put in my display cabinet. Were those the Victrix ones? I don't know where the other ducks ones are. I don't know. I haven't found them yet.
Awesome. But that's it. That's all I've been up to. So that's not much for 2 weeks' work for me. Sorry about that, folks.
No, I say, like, this is a problem. I did my, as some of you probably saw, I did the, I've been working on that, those like itty bitty Saxons. But obviously there was the point came where it's like, no, I can't actually do any hobbying at all. And I'm somewhat tired after carrying all those boxes.
Hang on, I just have to address them. I'm being absolutely criticised for my choice of tea. Bugger off, you lot. So Alex said, you've lost a subscriber. I'm a monster.
Well, speaking of which, I think, again, congratulations are in order because you hit 3,000, didn't you, Dom?
Well, I think I've just lost 4 by the way. So, yeah, so I'm probably not anymore.
Just duck down below it. But no, congratulations, mate. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you very much indeed. It was very good, and I'm very pleased. On Saturday morning, I woke up feeling a little bit tired and emotional after the wedding.
Emotional?
Yeah. Well, loosely hungover is the other word.
I was going to say emotional. It's like Tom did shed. Tom? Who's Tom? You're Dom. Dom did shed a tear for as Ken walked down the aisle.
I did. Yeah, more
than
anything else.
I was at the front doing a reading that got shoved in my hands just before,
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. It's like, Martin, you're going to do a reading. Here it is. Can I read it? No, I'm not allowed to read it until the real thing.
There we go.
Which also reminds me, we need to address the caption competition. I mean, you guys are just amazing. So this was the picture I put up on the Facebook page. Just to say, caption this. And
that was just as he gave me. That was probably when he told me about the reading, because you can tell by the look on my face that he's just said something that I didn't know about. That he's trying to that he's just trying to sort of.
I think you're right. But there were some brilliant responses, and I think I'm just going to find the one that I thought. A couple. In fact, I thought one came in. I thought that's the absolute clear winner. And then there were a couple more after that made me go, wow. But just brilliant, guys. Really, really good. This was it. James's. Thanks for the wedding gift, Martin. I've already traded up to a brand new train and a bottle of Bailey's. That was a particularly good one. I like that one. And where's the other one? I've lost the other one now. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, there was some brilliant responses.
Stu? I remember Stu.
It was particularly. Here we go. Make sure. That's it. Make sure you don't spill anything on the suit. They think they're only trying them on, sort of like a test drive. And if you don't mind, taking them back tomorrow. Ask for Dave, and if he's not there, just drop them off and walk away quickly.
Who joke about that? I was telling his obviously Laura's friends and his family about what you did with that car, because none of them knew. None of them knew, and they're all aghast. And then sort of all went, well, yeah, that is Ken. One of his brothers was taking full advantage of the bar. Absolutely, he said well, I can't actually really repeat what he said because we get demonetized. But it was along the lines of Ken doesn't like to spend money.
And on that point, have you ever seen 3 brothers that look least alike? It's extraordinary, amazing. There we go. I'm just going to leave that hanging there.
Excellent. Well, Anyway, where are we? Let's see what's going down in the chat. Oh, pardon, 999 Payton, how are you doing? I am in the new hobby room. Thank you very much. Was Ken giving me a peck on the cheek? Absolutely not. There was, if anything, it was going to be a smack in the face from me when he kept on like dropping all these little bits on me. Like, by the way, you're looking after the I know the best man does look after the rings, but they're usually not told 2 seconds before the ceremony starts.
That was funny. It was, yeah.
We won't go on about sage advice. No, but it was cracking. It was a cracking wedding. But as someone did say, if it was done, we did miss the opportunity to put a PCP flag or something in there. We were at the battlefield. We were at a battlefield as well. So, we
were. Yeah, we were.
You know, but anyway, so what I thought we would start with, it's been the OPC, and Warren has sent me the entries for this month. Now, I don't have a printer installed yet, so now I'm going to have to find the blurb that he sent me and open it on the screen. Professional as ever.
Talk amongst yourselves, folks.
Yeah, there we go. I've got it here. So the OPC 15 was civilians, and there were 10 entries, and I'm going to attempt to go through them without mucking them up, and hopefully none of them have been deleted. So the first was why isn't this working? Dom, it's not working.
What's happening?
I seem to have frozen.
Oh dear, he's blown it. Hang on, let me. Are you still active?
Can you hear me?
There? I can hear you.
Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay. Excellent. Hang on 2 seconds. This is brilliant, isn't it? Hang on 1 second. I'm going to refresh and come back to you.
Okay, as you were.
Okay. Am I still? So,
you're there. Still there.
If you want to start answering one of the questions, feel free. I will be back in a second. I don't know what's happened.
I think his new internet's died. How bizarre is that? Oh well. Yeah. So as Martin says, he'll be back in a second. Apologies for that. So let's look at some of the questions that we got in from people to get started on that, because I'm going to just pick up one I haven't actually seen yet. Here we go. This is from Nick. So I want everybody's answers on this one. Who do you consider the best battlefield general in history? For me, I'm going to say Alexander the Great, just because his ability to control a very small but perfectly formed army and all different elements of it, and coordinate a serious battle against overwhelming numbers. I thought that was amazing. Absolutely extraordinary to read about his antics. Now, he may not have been the greatest in terms of managing an empire, but he was damn good at battlefield generalship. So I think that would be my choice on that one. Who else have we got here? So Alex says Douglas Haig. Okay, fair enough. Who else we got here? Oh, yeah, Carl agrees with me. There you go. I think that was the right one. To me, that's brilliant. And then we got 999 paid and said Robert E. Lee. Can't argue with that. He managed his resources pretty well, considering he had very little to work with most of the time. Did amazing. Louis Baby. Cromwell had no right to win as many battles due to being a layman in military arts. Well, then the only thing, Louis, I'd say on that one wasn't pretty much everybody, certainly in the early period of the English Civil War, laymen. There weren't many that were particularly fantastic at the game of war. I mean, I know there are a few that fought on the continent, but there weren't many. But yeah, certainly made the most of his abilities, that's for sure. Shakos, Frederick the Great. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think he was another one that mastered. I was reading about Augustus as well, Augustus the Great, and his ability to basically transform the Swedish army into something monumentally good, even though it had been truly atrocious before, was pretty impressive. Oh my goodness. Yeah, how can I forget Hannibal? He was a mean general. Jesus, he was a good one. So read about his stuff. Duke of Marlborough. God, can't argue with him. Absolutely. What do we got? I feel that's Nathan. Are you being controversial? Edward I for conquest of Wales. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's pretty good. Napoleon. I knew someone was going to come in with Napoleon. So was Napoleon? Here's a discussion point. Was Napoleon a brilliant battlefield general or a strategic general? Because most of his best results, apart from Austerlitz, probably, was about managing his campaigns really, really well. I would tend to suggest. I mean, he was a damn good battlefield general too, but I think he was as much a campaign general as anything else, in my view. But awesome. We got lots of. Oh my goodness, this is going crazy. Frederick was a lucky general. Yeah, I think he had to be. Who was it? Who was the? Who was the quote talks about being a lucky general was better than anything else? I can't remember the exact quote. Giuseppe Garibaldi. Yeah, pretty good. Julius Caesar. Yeah, well, yeah, again. Genghis. See, again, I think, well, Genghis, yeah, you could say Genghis was. Oh, he's one of my heroes, that's for sure. Yeah, don't know. Could be. Carl the 12th, sorry. Missed my numbers. Wellington, oh, hang on. Oh, Jesus, going through Wellington. Yeah, Wellington was a master at managing his resources again. Very, very, very good at defending a position. And actually, when he got the chance to attack, he was extremely good at that too. So, yeah. All right, Alex, I'll give you Haig. He was the only one who took an army of 100,000 men and took it to 9 million and beat a continental army. Yeah, but that's not a battlefield general. See, I would argue that's strategy and strategic and resource management. A bit like Montgomery was a fantastic resource manager. Not to say they were bad battlefield generals, but, still very, very good. Who else we got here? Oh, my goodness, look at this. Von Manstein. Yeah, definitely in there. Caesar, or does the discrepancy of forces count against him? Well, what he made up for he had the quality, whereas they all had the quantity. So I suppose that, I don't know. Is that what you mean? I guess then. Here we go. Oh, it was Napoleon who said about wanting lucky generals. Yeah, I knew it was someone like that. I'd forgotten that. Field Marshal William Slim, commander of the 14th Army in the Second World War. I don't know enough about him to be sure, but I'll take that on advice. Thank you. We got Rommel. Yeah, Adolphus. Yeah, Andy, you're right. I think he's got to be up there. Good stuff. Oh, he's gone again. Henry V. That's an interesting one, Matt. I like that. Was he a great battlefield general? Or was he just kind of... I guess he managed his resources pretty well. Pretty good at what he did. But was it more incompetence on the part of his opposition? Discuss. I don't know. Good grief. Lionheart would say Edward III taking on the French, who were bigger, had more resources. Again, is that a battlefield general, or is that somebody very good at strategic side, managing the resources they had?
Can you hear me?
Hey, he's back. Hello.
Do you know what it was? Right, we'll figure it out. I'm so sorry. Haley started hoovering. Oh, look. Started hoovering.
Haley, what have you done?
Just hoovered. She didn't go near it, just hoovered, and it turned on the hoover, and everything went nuts. Oh, really? I don't know if that... I have no idea everything, but it knocked my mind. Everything, connections, everything went. So there we go. Awesome. Oh dear, sorry about that.
Just discussing the best battlefield general, which was Nick's question. Okay, which has gone a bit bananas. Ooh. Actually.
Okay, what did you say?
I said Alexander the Great because I think he managed a very small but very disparate army and taking on huge opposition. On the battlefield and won every single battle.
Martin will say Edward IV. I won't necessarily say that, although I do think you need to tip the hat to him because the man scared the French so much they paid him off in sausage to say he wouldn't invade. The French was so they they essentially had their version of Danegeld for Edward.
Mhm.
Just please don't invade us, and because you will kick the snot out of us. And if we'll give him all this money, and if we send over, wagons and wagons of sausage, you'll get fat and won't invade. I mean, it worked, So I don't know. That is a hard.
See, I was just discussing because a lot of people were putting up some generals there that I consider to be fantastic. I mean, amazing if you read the histories of them. Really, really great generals. But were they great battlefield generals? They were, like Napoleon was phenomenally good at managing his resources, grand strategy, the maneuvering, and all that kind of stuff. Was he actually fantastic on the battlefield compared to some other generals? I don't know. He was damn good.
I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know if you've. Already
can you not separate?
I don't know if you already said this, but I mean, surely you've got to say Napoleon. Like,
That's
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, sure, despite the losses at the end, surely, Napoleon's career. No, I don't know if I'd say he's the best, but he's certainly up there. I mean,
well, exactly. I wouldn't say he's not a good one, but I think my argument with him is he was
French,
probably obviously that goes against him without saying. He was supposed he was Corsican, really, but there you go. But no, he was good at that grand strategy piece. I mean, he's generally beat the opponents before he got to the battle, didn't he? That's so.
I don't know. It's very. That's a really hard question. I suppose. I don't know. Again, that's quite hard. Saladin was quite a good battlefield. Battlefield commander. Look what he did at Hattin. But then he had the snot kicked out of him by Richard I. So.
Davout at Augustadt. But that was one battle. I mean, he was a brilliant corps commander, that's for sure. I don't know. Interesting. You could debate this all day long, and clearly everyone is. Rommel. Yeah, Rommel was.
I think it would be more fun to do it the other way. Who is actually the worst? You're fighting for bottom place. Like, who is the worst? See, I'd go for that. Obviously I did that video, didn't I, about the Battle of Malden and Brifnoff, the chap who said to Vikings, said, "This is unfair. Let's fight you." And he went, "Okay," and he let them come onto the land, and then they just slaughtered them. Although he did have his reasons for doing that and being discourteous. I don't know. That is a very good one, and hopefully it sparked enough debate while my internet.
We filled the time while your internet was being, or while Haley finished the washing and the ironing.
Oh no, I've stopped to halfway. I've been told I'm doing the hoovering at 10:30 when this is over. So yes. So oh dear. So should we move on to another one?
So move on to another one. Yeah, why not?
Nick's just popped in. I don't know if you saw that. Hello, dude. I hope you're well.
Hey, Nick. How you doing, mate?
Nice to see you.
Right. I bet he'd have a view on who was the best battlefield general.
Ooh.
I bet he
Who
would.
is it, Nick? Hopefully he's still watching. You can get that. Okay. So shall we start at the top and then work our way down?
Yep.
Okay. So the first one is from Tim, driving back from sunny Wales. And his question was, do we have any tips for painting African skin tones at 15 mil?
Well, I'm going to plead the fourth on this one because I'll get an awful lot of trouble if I say the name of the paint that I've got. But it's a very, very old paint that I use to paint that sort of skin tone. It's a particularly, it's not an offensive name, but it's one that you can't use anymore.
No, so and it's my channel,
and it's your channel.
So
begins with N. But it's a nice color. But you've done loads of Zulus, so you must have a view on.
Yeah. So I use Hyrax brown, which is a color from Colorforge. So I undercoat with Hyrax brown. And then I dry brush it with a mid-tone, like just sort of a mid brown. But obviously that's because I'm doing Zulus. To be honest, if it was at 15 mil, I probably wouldn't do much else after that. At 28 mil, there's more details to pick out. So I do a wash and then I sort of re-highlight areas and I try to sort of vary skin tones and things. But at 15 mil, I probably wouldn't bother. I'd probably just get a spray if you're doing something like Zulus where there is a lot of flesh tones to cover, then I'll do that. If it's just faces, hands, and things like that, then I would probably just get sort of a I guess the best word I could use it is sort of it's weird. It's kind of like a dark mahogany kind of color. I just find that's a really good base tone, and then go from there. I'll see if I can dig out a paint and have a look at it.
I mean, if you're doing 28 mil, then I guess you could just take a variety of different darker browns, and then use a dark wash on that, and then lighten them slightly. Because all black skin tones tend to vary quite considerably, so you wouldn't necessarily have all the same skin tone anyway. So, just taking a dark, or even a fairly light brown, and then put a heavy dark wash over the top of it, and lighten it from there would be would have thought.
Is a good shout from Tavern Tales. Foundry paint system has many different human skin colors in batches of low, mid, and high tones. They do with their triad systems, so that would be a good shout. Oh, and here we go. Nick has come back. Bertrand de Goussin. Bertrand.
You're on your own with that one, mate.
This guy, I don't worry. I had some comment, bless it, the other day, having to go at my sort of Cambridge Cockney. So go, didn't your mother clip you around the ear roll and freeze us? Oh, come on. I'd be more worried about the state of everyone's written language than the spoken at the moment. Everyone, he won back all the territories from Edward III and the Black Prince using guerrilla warfare, avoiding pitched battles. Is that
battlefield general?
But could he do it? So could he actually fight in open battle, or did he fight in open battle? How did that go?
Again, a strategically brilliant and good at managing resources, clearly. But
I mean, we're just going to say Caesar. Did anyone say Caesar?
Yeah, we had Caesar, but there was some question whether because he had such an advantage in terms of the troop types that he had and the equipment he had, whether that was fair.
He was massively outnunbered.
That's what I said. Yeah, I agree.
Massive. Was it Alesia where obviously they started invading? They were laying siege, and then another camp. Then he got attacked in the back, and he beat everybody.
He did. You
know,
I guess also he did take on Pompey, exactly,
yeah.
Which was he fought a similar armed army. So
and had bigger. Pompey had more men.
So maybe we'll count Caesar. We'll take him up there alongside Alexander. How about that?
I don't know. I'd want him ahead of Alexander, unless comes on to another question in a moment. Anyway, moving on. We have, what battlefield have you not been to that you would like to go to? I mean, I can kick this off if you like, because we were talking about it.
We did talk about this a while back. Yeah,
so
go for it.
So I want to go to Isandlwana, basically. Not so much Rorke's Drift, but I would like to do the walk around Isandlwana and the mountain, and then do the Fugitives Trail back to Rorke's Drift. I'd like to do that. If we're talking in the UK, I guess. Maybe Culloden. I haven't been.
I've done that. It's quite eerie.
Yeah, I haven't done Culloden. I've done pretty much all of the Wars of the Roses ones, so there's not much.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I think I would go. It's funny because last time I couldn't think of one. But there's several I'd like to do. I'd like to go and do places like Salamanca and that sort of thing in Spain. I'd also love to see the battlefield of Austerlitz, because I'm fascinated by how dominant those heights were that Napoleon let go, to see how spectacular that was. That might change my rule on whether he was a great general or not, despite being French.
Good shout here, Lutzen. That would be good.
Good shout.
That would be good. I because I thought I knew a bit about Lutzen, so I was reading about Gustavus Adolphus and obviously his failed cavalry action, which saw him, killed basically. But did you hear reportedly what his last words were? Supposedly. So when they found him, because he'd been shot out, I can't remember, he'd been shot out of the saddle and he was lying on the floor. And when some of the enemy found him and they sort of asked him who he was, apparently his last words were, "I was the King of Sweden."
Really?
and then they shot him. But I don't know sort of where that account comes from. I guess it comes from them, and would they really?
So.
I don't know. Nobody's is. No, that would be a good.
It's well worth going to see any Battlefield. Well, not any, because some of them are rubbish, but a lot of Battlefields are well worth a visit in some way.
I quite like the less well-known ones where you don't necessarily have. And it sounds a bit weird, but you don't necessarily have battlefield trails, and you have to kind of find your way around yourself. Yes. So Malden, which I'm going to be doing the visit to, the battlefield. Well, it's because the battlefield is contentious, like every battlefield. But there's very little other than just to say it was fought somewhere here, and you've got to, sort of make your own way, which I thought was quite nice. Waterloo is,
Alex said here he's despite being interested in Waterloo since again he's never been. Was planning to go when COVID hit. I have been to Waterloo. It's an amazing battlefield, and I loved it because, like Alex, it was.
I was going to say, didn't you go when you were on a work trip or something?
I was at a meeting in Brussels, and we had a couple of hours free. I had an afternoon free, and everyone was saying, "Oh, where are you going to go?" And they were all heading off to the bars and stuff. And I said, "I'm going to get a taxi to Waterloo." So I did. A couple of them came, which was a mistake, I think, for them because I was on full geek mode. It was brilliant. I loved it.
I was about to say, do you still work with these people?
No.
Dom didn't get invited to the Christmas party. You were never left to organise the Christmas party.
But I got to see Waterloo, so who cares? And I expensed the taxi, so who cares?
That's a good point. I'm sure there's some way I could whack some stuff onto expenses for going to Battlefield.
There you
go.
Sure,
I could do that.
Nick said, serious note, Edward III was a military genius, changed the way the English fought, dismounted men at arms, and created the Hearst formation. Yep.
Alex is all right. Let's do it. All right. I'll sort that out. I'll sort that out. Alex said, let's do it. I'm up for that. Let's do what we can do. I'm sure between us we can come up with some kind of verifiable professional reason to be. You
two are archaeologists. There must be a way of doing it.
I'll tell you after the Malden video if it works. I'll tell you what I've done. But no, that's another good question.
Alex says Borodino, but not right now. Probably a good call, mate. Yeah, I wouldn't go there if I was you.
Next up, we have. This is quite a good one, and this is from Barry. How much scenery?
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I just want to pull up Nick's response here. I've been to Marathon, Plakia, Salamis, Thermopylae. You bugger. Well, he is in Greece. I know you are in Greece, but that is just what a set of battles that is.
Yeah. Okay.
That wins.
Nick wins.
Nick wins. We'll move on now. Nick wins.
Battlefield archaeologist. There we go. Battlefield archaeologist. The term. How much scenery do we all have? Go on, Dom. You kick it off because yours is readily. You can see yours behind.
I've got shit tons of it, mate. I've got loads of it. I've got all different scales, all different types of terrain. Do you know? I think we've talked about this many times in various formats on the stream and other things, and other people do a lot. Is to me what makes a Battlefield game look really, really cool is the terrain. So I have focused a lot of time and money on terrain, getting different buildings, different types of woods, different sort of features of all different descriptions, just because. To me, that brings the Battlefield to life. And of course, if you do different scales, you need different types of terrain, and that adds the challenge. So literally, I've got boxes and boxes of different hills, different woods, different trees, different types of buildings, different scales, just because, I just want to be able to replicate what I want to do. And what, to me, when I lay out that table, I want to go, wow, I like that table. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it, isn't it? You know, one of the I know one of the later questions. Well, actually, I should probably, if I find it, because we can actually probably couple the two of them together. Paul asked about scenery as well, which in his question was, what is the right amount of terrain for a table? And he had a second part to it, which is, do we find much use, or do you use the like the table generators for placing scenery in rule books? So. in terms of what terrain do I have, in response to Barry's question, I again, like you, I have a lot. I have a lot. I have a obscene amount of sort of trees, although never enough, and I can never find them when I need them. It's like
that's the other problem, finding stuff.
Yeah. I've got quite a lot of scatter pieces, carts and barrels, because I find they're the thing, to break up dead ground. They're not necessarily, they don't do anything in game. They don't even act as cover, but it's just there to break everything up. Or some farmyard animals, things like that. Robin's got a lot of scenery, so obviously when we play games, he brings over loads as well. And I've been trying to build up the Crusade stuff at the moment, so I've got a fair bit of that now done. And of course, I've got things like the castle. I unpacked that today, and a few other bits and bobs. But there'll always be that. I always find I'm more tempted to buy scenery, I think, than I am models. Does that because I can see I see some, I want it, but then there's a bit in my head that's sort of, how often am I going to use that specific piece of scenery? I tend to go for more generic things.
I was going to ask you, is that something you do? I certainly have done this quite a few times. Just buying one piece of terrain that you see because you have in mind a particular battle, but you're probably not going to use it very often again.
Yeah,
you've got to have it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of what in a minute. See, I quite like terrain kits that are versatile. So, like multi-part liaison that I have can be broken down and be any old set of buildings anywhere really, because you can reconfigure them into quite a lot of different ways. Whereas obviously, if it was just single piece, it's always just liaison really.
Yeah.
Say what you like about it, it's still. Everyone will look at it and go, "Oh, it's just liaison in somewhere else." I'm just trying to think of something. I guess the castle.
I was going to say, is the castle one
was specific, but I left it modular so I could sort of refit it in any way that I really sort of saw fit. But to sort of just move on to Paul's bit, for a game, I mean, obviously, if you're playing a mass battle game and you're moving units, then you shouldn't. Then my opinion is you should still have some quite large open areas on your battlefield fields. Yep. You've got to think about the game as well as what looks cool and what makes sense. But if you're fighting something in sort of the 19th century, and it's or we'll get into the pre-industrialized world in the medieval period, you can have vast tracts of plowed land and open fields, and then big chunks of woodland. Although obviously there were mass clearances of woodland, so I think in mass battle games it's better to have big chunky pieces of scenery, so a big set of woods. It's all right having little ones here and there that your skirmishers can go between, but the thing is, if you break it up so much, then your battalions are always reforming, and it just gets a bit stale. Especially if
too much terrain can break a game. That's for sure. Can make it no fun at all.
Yeah,
if you've got too much
skirmish games, you can have quite a lot.
Skirmishes, I think, are different because I think you can.
Yeah.
But it also depends on, as you say, the period, the rule set. Generally, mass battle, I would say you want to keep it to a modicum, not go too much, because it's depending. I mean, if you were fighting a game where the a refight of a battle where there was it played a huge part, then fair enough. But I think generally, if you're just playing a pickup game of Hail Caesar or Black Powder or something, if you pack the table with terrain, as you say, Martin, everything's going to slow up. It's going to be really difficult to get the game going. But it'll be
absolutely. No, I agree. That being said, you can. I guess it just depends on the type of warfare. I don't tend to use the scenario, like the generators, because they annoy me, because they never. They always you roll them and they're sort of like, put a holy relic in the middle of this river. I always
find it was like someone's picked up the table and everything slid down one end with me, because all the terrain seems to collect in one part of the battlefield. I don't know why.
What Robin and I did for Saga currently is we roll it up and then we just put them where we want to. So basically that gives us like our pool of scenery, and then we create the board out of it, rather than it goes in this grid square. Because we were looking at some of it, we were like, that just looks crap. I don't like it. And we did genuinely, when we spend longer setting up the games, I think, sometimes, than we do playing them, because it does mean that much. I like having a good table. And
it's true. When I used to do a lot of competition gaming, the art of the placement of the terrain, if you were allowed to, was actually a key part of the game. If you got that right and put yourself at an advantage, you could do an awful lot. You could do very well at the game, and conversely, you could actually lose a game pretty much based on if you screwed up that terrain placement at the beginning, because that was part of the game.
So I think partly is as well. You can. There are a couple of games where you can move terrain around, with effects. That's quite fun. And if you've overdone it, then it's not going to make much difference. So you want it to actually count. For something. So that's always a good bit of fun.
I have started a lot with battles putting out terrain that doesn't actually play any particular part in it. So, but it's just there for the effect. So the odd clumps of trees and things, and they don't actually play a part, but it just looks better. So
we do that a fair bit. We use it was a nod from Robin. I use a lot of lichen to just build up around the edges of fields, and really it hides seams and things like that between sort of things. But it doesn't actually have any sort of effect. And that battle report where I trounced Miller, the ECW one,
You're not going to mention that one again, are you?
No, not at all. The one where I absolutely annihilated him.
Is that where you beat him soundly? I think it was.
I soundly beat him and had time for tea. No, I said at the start of the game on the video, I said that the clump foliage just indicates the edges of the field, and it doesn't indicate, they're not hedges or anything. No one's getting any saves. And I had loads of people, well, not loads of people, I had quite a few comments sort of saying, we would count it as that. I was like, yeah, but the problem is, what will happen is you just end up taking cover behind it and you just sit there shooting at each other. I try to make it so my battlefields encourage a bit more of a dynamic game. I don't want people to just take cover behind things, especially in games where you have firearms, and just hide the whole time. I want to get the bayonet charge going. I want to have the cavalry rampaging across the battlefield, except when Haley rolls for them. So I think it having a good set of generic terrain, and then maybe some sort of period specific pieces. That's probably the best way forward. What goes on with Saga? You don't use much scenery at all. No, you don't. And then muskets and tomahawks, you have loads. Absolutely. Where are we? Did it with the comments. Generators of rubbish just make stuff up that looks cool. That's Robin.
True.
That's Robin.
Fair enough.
David, he bought a load of flat flocked felt fields in the USA. No effect on gameplay, but just make table look more real. Absolutely. As long as you make it clear to your opponent which areas of terrain are doing what. How did I do my teddy bear fur? My children have no soft toys. No. Well, they do. They're just very grisly. I watched Predator really young as a child. So you're just hanging. I buy the teddy bear fur in a sort of A2 or A3 pieces. The guy that I get it from, you can sort of distinguish. You can buy it in like quite a big chunk, but I find those quite manageable sizes. And then you could what I do is I use, where are they? These sprays. Where are they? Here they are. These no, that's Plastic Soldier Company. This one here, Liquitex spray paint.
Oh yeah.
So I use these because they're really cheap. And
they're very cheap ones. Yeah.
They're water based, and it's really, so I just got a brown and a yellow and a green, and I just sprayed them from quite a distance. And then while they're wet, I use, where is it? This comb, this comb here, and I comb it through the teddy bear fur, flicking it all over the place. So do it outside and away from anything that your wife or any of your loved ones hold dear. And just have at it. And sometimes you can trim it down, you can make pathways through it, but that's it. I just go on the internet. If you go on eBay and type in teddy bear fur pieces for model railways or modeling, it'll come up. And then just dollop different colors on there and just comb them through. I don't bother dry brushing anything because it ends up clumping.
Yeah,
and it just looks stupid, and the models don't sit properly. Whereas this stuff, and these cans are only £5 each, and these are the same. I've been using these cans for years now. It doesn't take very much, and you get a really, really nice effect. So
there we go.
Right.
Someone said Tab and Tell says 3D printing has opened up the scenery terrain aspect of the hobby. Certainly for scatter terrain, that's for damn sure. It really has, isn't it? I don't know. Would you print out much large scale terrain?
I'm trying to print a church at the moment.
Yeah.
No, I would. But generally, from FDM printers tend to be better for it
They're
than
better
resin,
for that.
unless you have a resin printer with a really big build plate. However, as I think Dom has saved for the pictures later, the chap at Reconquer is trying to make buildings, and he's making them with small enough parts that they can be printed out on a smaller printer and stuck together, so it just comes in more parts. I'm basically saying to Dom, it'll be the Rubicon, the equivalent of a Rubicon if Rubicon made scenery.
Yes, I think. Well, I think you're right. I mean, definitely, you wouldn't go. Apart from, I was going to say you won't go and use a resin printer for terrain, but maybe we will moving forward. But yeah, the filament one definitely is the way to go, isn't it?
Definitely scatter terrain and I say tokens. I think Alex said in here like immersive tokens on the battlefield. You know, like I don't know, like using. In bolt action, I use little craters for pin markers.
Yeah,
I pop around people rather than those tokens we were using in the shop because they put me off a little bit. So you can print off some quite nice stuff that that looks like that. Victor, hello. I don't think I've seen you before. Oh, sorry, Victor. What's the main difference between Muskets and Tomahawks and Saga? It's completely different, mate.
It's a very distant.
They are totally different systems. Muskets and Tomahawks is a card-driven game. You don't really have turns. It's just you don't have turns. It's just based on a deck of cards, and you roll through it. It's also D10s instead of D6. You don't have the battle board. They are very different, but they are Muskets, and I do really like Muskets and Tomahawks. I have to say, it's a fantastic game.
It is, yeah. I mean, Muskets and Tomahawks is probably more akin to Sharp Practice, similar system idea. It's a skirmish game. But yeah, Saga is Saga. There's nothing quite like Saga, I don't think, is there really?
No, sorry. I just saw Benjamin pop up, but he's in Estonia.
I saw that. Yes.
So that's just throw. Hello, mate. How are you? I hope you're painting some shields over there.
Hope you're having a good holiday, mate.
Where are we? Okay, let's see what we have next in the bag. Oh, I think I just seen one that Nick pointed up, which I may just ask. Is this? I assume this was aimed to here. Why do you think most fellow gamers prefer the War of the Roses to the 100 Years' War?
That's because nobody will play the French, so you can only play English. That's why.
I think, to be fair though, I think a lot of it is because there's a lot of there are a lot of war gamers in the UK. I don't know quite how it compares on the continent, but I guess because the Wars of Roses is a civil war essentially, and it's something that I think a lot of people in the UK are still interested in, especially because it's got all the Richard III stuff around it as well. Let's face it, people get interested in that. I guess as well. I wouldn't necessarily say it's more brutal, but there's certainly a lot more of the let's go straight for the nobles.
Would you say it's the perception that the 100 Years' War is a very one-sided war? That's most people's perception is that the longbow just dominates, destroys all the French. The French are stupid and charge everything. Which whereas a bit more, well, as you say, there was a lot of deviousness and nastiness going on in the War of the Roses, but I don't think it's right.
No, I think you got something there. I mean, again, it was such a broad period of time, but in the number of kings that were involved and the way that warfare changed. Maybe it's just simply a case of would you have to decide whether you're playing the early, the middle, or the later part? Whereas the War of the Roses, arguably, you can broadly get away with using everything for pretty much all of it. Which, if you're not too bothered about things, you can for the 100 Years War. I fully intend on building 100 Years War force at some point in the future. I don't know when, but I do. And yeah, Bicker City just put it is, he goes, the War of the Roses is like a big stabby soap opera. Yes,
yep, that's a good. That's a good assumption. Yeah,
absolutely,
well
absolutely. It's I think the viciousness of the perceived viciousness of the Wars of the Roses does bring people in. Does sort of tend to sort of get people's creative juices going.
But it is odd, isn't it? Because to that point that you made earlier, that I think there's a lot of, I don't know what the percentages of gamers, but there's an awful lot of English or British war gamers, and yet we sort of grow up in some ways on that diet of Henry V, sorry, and Agincourt and all that, and yet not so many people actually seem to play it as a period, which is, I don't know.
Maybe that's why. Maybe it is. I mean, to be fair, I think they're both really underrepresented in our school system. And if you do learn about the Wars of the Roses, it tends just to be Richard and the end of it, and then the start of the terrible Tudors. The War of the Roses is born out of the end of the 100 Years War. It only starts about 2 years later. So technically, if you go by the battle dates,
they just go and watch that Netflix series about the War of the Roses. I thought that solves everything.
He's such a bastard. He's such a horrible, horrible bastard. Do you know what? Oh God.
I've got it going, folks.
I saw it. I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and a sort of a TikTok-y style clip of that just appeared, and it just triggered you, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. It just made me angry, especially sort of like, I thought we'd gone past like stereotypes. Like we're going to make everybody the stereotype. But even the Duke of York, who's not from York, I'd like to add, was basically asking for a cup of tea, which is nothing wrong with that. But he's like going, buy gum. Like, oh my God. Like, it's like he would swear. It's like the fact that they're all from the South. It just drove me. Oh God. Anyway.
He really likes that show, folks. That's all I'm saying.
I actually wrote to I can't remember which author it was. He put a comment on Twitter or something. No, not Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. Instagram about it. It said something like, I've just watched episode 1, oh dear God, what's happened? So I commented, right, you should wait till episode 2. I think you'll give it like that. And all I got back was the sort of the worried face. From this author,
from the actual author. Lovely.
So, oh dear. Right. Should we do a bit of news? Because I know we've got some news, and then we can fire through some more questions, because we do have a lot. But like I said, we've
only done about 2 or 3, haven't we? So
we could do some. We'll do some quick fire. We'll do some quick fire questions. Anyway, by the way, we should just say, remember to like the stream if you're being entertained by me and Dom, or if you're watching us flounder, then absolutely. I think Dom deserves a like just for holding the fort.
I did flounder a bit there because I was in the middle of super gluing something, and I was like, oh shit, I've got to read the screen now. Anyway, there you go.
Right then, let's find. I forgot where everything is. Here we go. Right, let's just put it up just because. There we go. There's been a lot happening. And it's not necessarily because it's just been 2 weeks. It's in the last week. It has been incredibly.
Well, it's weird because the week you weren't here, we did, and there wasn't an awful lot of news. And then last week I didn't see a lot. So there does seem to be an awful lot this week. So yeah.
Do you want to get things kicked off? What did you see out on the?
I'll leave you to do your favourite sculptor one. So I'll do one of my favourites. So piano. He has a new selection of Bavarians in greatcoats, which apparently are available on his website from next week, I believe. So that's exciting. I guess Robin will be very pleased about that. So yeah, greatcoats with your Bavarians. There you go.
They
and there's
do
more.
look very, very nice.
It's fantastic. And he's also working on a whole lot of French for it's the 1807 campaign, which will be coming out at some point, I would imagine, via another Kickstarter at some point. And talking about Bavarians, not long before we came on air, that sounds professional, doesn't it? The Perrys. Alan put up this. This is a Bavarian supply wagon.
They are very nice.
And
see, I love that kind of stuff.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, it's completely unnecessary for the game, but it will look damn good at the back. It's absolutely fantastic. And there's that's a close-up of the wagon itself, which looks really, nice. Really cool.
Very nice.
Talking about those gits, apparently because it's been lovely weather, Alan's been out. Well, has been Nottingham yesterday. He was he was busy in his garden doing some what was he doing? Polish, wasn't he? I think, but also he showed off the next lot of Ottoman Napoleonics that are coming.
Did you just feel your wallet itch?
I did. There was a definite lurch in my trousers, shall we say? As I saw those Ottomans. So yeah, I mean, they just look amazing. I'm going to have to get me some of those, that's for sure. Shall I continue, Martin?
Please, I need a moment. I should actually just say, sorry, because of course, everybody here, remember to go and check out our lovely sponsors, Boards and Saws. Cheers, James, for that. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, if you go over there and you see someone you fancy, enter the code PCP5 for 5% off. And if you don't see what you want, give them a message, give them an email, because they can order it in, but they do get very busy around certain releases, don't they, Dom? So go and have a look. He is stocking a lot of Warlord stuff at the moment. But if whatever your fancy is, go over there, check them out. PCP5. We will obviously remind you guys later. It's not hard to remember that one, but we are very grateful for them for sponsoring the podcast.
Awesome. Other things I saw, put this on the Facebook page, but Futsal have got a new Fjord command for the Saxons, which look rather good, actually. I think that's rather nice. There must be another range of their figures coming through or something, because they look really... I do like the guy. I don't know what he's doing. Is he supposed to be a standard bearer? He's got a spear in this picture.
I think he would be. He's in quite a cool position that you could put a nice flowing... I mean, he might be trying to plant himself because he's in a hurricane.
Yeah, does look a bit like that, doesn't he? But it's great. Yeah, really nice figure. And also, Great Escapes have shown off some of their winter Hungarians. 28 mils.
Lovely.
So that's that. Anti-tank gun looks amazing. I love the loading of the
Panzer
Trek.
That's I don't really think cool. I've seen. Sorry, that was a really high pitching.
It was a little bit squealy, but there you go.
It was.
No, I've not. To be honest, I haven't seen anyone do one with a loading figure like that. It's really, really cool. And I particularly love the size. Look at that. That's a proper anti-tank rifle. Absolutely amazing.
That's cool. That is cool. Very, very nice. No, I do like them models. Okay, I'll just switch on. I did it ages ago, mate. I did it. You weren't quick enough. You weren't on here quick enough.
Asleep, Dom. You came on late, mate. Sorry.
Did it ages ago, buddy. What did I see? Well, I got a whole mixed bag, so I'm going to show a few things. It's not going to interest everybody, all of it, but hey, we're going to report on it anyway. So Sarisa have got some new medieval boats out at the moment, and so they've got everything from like a little sort of rowing boat, sort of tug kind of thing, up to this one here, which I thought was very cool. So this one's a galley, which is basically one step down from the one that they've already got. But I think that's been very, very successful. That boat.
Isn't there a new rule set for? Is it never mind the boat hooks or something?
Yeah, it's never mind. Yeah, it's their naval version for boarding actions to do with that. So most people, I think, have bought the one up from this and then essentially modified it and to make it a bit later, because these are just a bit early for that period, because there were. They looked a bit different by that point. That picture I nearly bought drunkenly will show you that. But yeah, so they're on it. So if you want your medieval boats, then go and check out Sarisa. I saw these from War Games Atlantic. So get ready to drink because we're going to be talking about 3D printing. And here we go. So they have got some other stuff on their digital. So they've got a Custer at the Little Bighorn, which I thought was cool. They're doing quite a few of these little
they're doing this sort
sets.
of one-off.
Yeah,
really good.
And they had this one which I thought was quite cool, which is Spartacus's Revolt. Which I thought was which was really, really cool. Although I've just looked at the date and it says Decline and Fall, Imperial Rome at War 284. Yeah, I think they might need to just adjust that slightly. There's another one as well, which I was going to put up here because I wanted to see if Alex had seen it, which was what was it? It was sort of a female Russian World War I death squad, I think it's called.
That was the one. Yes, I saw that.
But I forgot to grab the picture of that one. Next up in news. Everyone was asking for this when it came out, and he's done it. Graham has released the solo rules for 0200s, and these are completely free. Just go on his website, you add them to your cart, whack your email address in, and they'll get sent. So you can play that game completely solo with a complete AI system in there. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't sort of tell you good. I was trying to drunkenly convince Dom on a Friday that he should do it and film it. So if you agree, I think you should put that in the comments. Should Dom film a solo one?
I think Alex approves. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to Alex. If you haven't seen it, mate, I'll find the picture and send it to you. I just want your honest opinion. But yeah, so you got go and check them out. Graham, always lovely chap. So and he's done all this himself. So go and have a look. But yeah, if you guys want to see Dom do a solo game, then get into the chat. Sorry. Next one up, a game that I don't play and have zero interest in, which is Blood Red Skies. They've got a set called the Wing Commander sort of expansion, which, as I understand it, I don't know if you've seen this, Dom, it brings together a lot of sort of articles and sort of gameplay elements that have already been published, I think, in various forms. It puts them here, plus a lot of other stuff as well. So for those of you who play Blood Red Skies, it is still getting support, and there's a whole host, I think, of new aircraft available as well. So if you head over to Warlord, you'll see those. I'm going to disappoint Dom now because we were talking about this in the car. Dom, your bear is not limited edition. The bear from Oathmark is now on general release on the web store. There is. Do you want to show your bear off, Dom? Hang on. Let's make Dom bigger. There we go.
Look at this. Look, I'll put him beside a normal 28mm figure. That's a big old bear, isn't it?
There's a big bear. That is a big bear. I just noticed you've got Ken's mask up there. I've got
mine
there as well. Fantastic.
We missed a treat. We should have all had those masks to go around Nottingham, shouldn't we? Damn.
We should have. You should have worn yours in the wedding in the congress. With everyone, what they done is they turned around and everyone was wearing a Ken mask.
What a thing!
I can't imagine Laura would have been very happy, but it would have been worth it. I'm sure it would have been worth it.
It would have been hilarious. But yeah, there's the bear. He's massive. He is.
Yeah, he's very cool. He's, how much was he? He was
35 English pounds. He was.
And how many pieces is he? Is he an acceptable number of pieces?
He's only 3 pieces, which I approve of wholeheartedly. His legs are his torso and his the arm with the axe. So legs, torso, and arm with the axe. That's all, and he's absolutely lovely.
Lovely. So that's out, and a nice centerpiece. Because you said the stand, and I've heard this from someone else. The standard salute was just rammed for.
Do you know? I think I mentioned this the other week, but it was just extraordinary. I went straight to it because I thought that they might sell out. I didn't think it was limited edition, but I thought they might sell out of the bear, and I thought I'll go and grab one quick before I go around the rest of it. It was the only stand that was absolutely packed within 10 minutes of the show opening. And people were spending literally hundreds. The 2 people in front of me spent 150 and 180 quid on whatever they are, Badgers and Boroughs figures. It's just extraordinary. And people were going, "Oh, I need these 5 for the set. Now I've got every single model." And it was like, "Oh my goodness!" So
I'm really pleased. I am really pleased for him because I'm not saying we know a lot of we've spoken to a lot of sculptors and a lot of companies who work really hard, but he has he works, when he was, do you remember when he was on the stream, he was saying him and his wife, and they I think they got the sort of COVID hit the business really hard, and he puts a lot of himself into that game. So I'm really pleased that
likewise.
It's getting that kind of attention. I say lots of games and lots of smaller people deserve it as well. So let just keep plugging away. Oh, I did get it. There you go, Alex.
I just put it up for you. There you go. So I knew Alex would.
There you go.
That. Yeah, that's
just waiting.
Just let's set that fuse going.
I mean, to be fair, they look cool. They look cool.
They look good models. I'll give you that.
Cool. I just sometimes you just see something and there's a special someone who's going to appreciate it. Okay, next up. Now I put these up, because I knew Steve would normally like them, and also the name of the company is Satanic Panic. Satanic Panic Miniatures. Okay,
that wins.
And they're doing some classic.
Wow! Look
they're
at
doing
those
some kind of classic looking sort of goblin-y orcs. Dare I use the term old school? Maybe we should drink every time we say that as well. Yeah, let's drink every time we say old school as well. Why not old school? I'm slowly getting through this Voodoo Ranger thing. I don't know. And to be fair, they're better than the British. I quite like these. I think they're going on to Kickstarter soon. So if you like this kind of thing, go and check them out. I think they're all going to be metals, classically sculpted. And there's an Orc Mangonel. Check that out.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, it does. If you're going to go, I do like these kind of gribbly looking.
If you're going to go really OTT, that's all I'm going to say.
That's going to say,
brilliant.
Absolutely. Shrink 7 says he loves Satanic Panic's miniatures. Do you know what? Until I saw the this part of it, I never heard of them. So I will be checking out a little bit more of them. Now, this one I've put up for James Cutts, specifically James Cutts, because I saw his comment. Now, as some of you know, you can get Star Wars Legion, but the company behind that have released a new game called Star Wars Shatterpoint, which is a bit like their Marvel game. I think it's 40 mil. And they've released a special jewel pack, which is the Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader jewel pack from the Kenobi show, which is called the You Cannot Run jewel pack. And it comes with that scenic base and everything. The scenic base isn't a board, it is just a base. And those, I don't think those bits are separate terrain. You'd actually have to work out a way to incorporate that into it. So essentially, what you're getting is these. I don't think Darth Vader's wielding that thing. Is he pushing it with his hand? I can't actually see what he's doing. However, for the princely sum of £90, you can own this.
Shit and sugar, really?
I was scrolling through Facebook, and I think it was this was on tabletop, and the only because obviously the algorithm will promote comments from friends to the ones that you see, and there it is. That's exactly. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I did it too.
That's exactly what I saw. How much?
How much?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I have seen some criticism being leveled now, not about the pricing at them, because people seem to think that they're abandoning Legion. I don't know how true that is, because Legion still seems to be getting quite a few releases. I was on there today, actually, having a look at a couple of them, none of which are for the armies that I play, or the one army that I play, because I sold the other one. So anyway, before we get to the good stuff, shall we go to what some people see as the purveyor of all evil, GW? Now, to be fair, we did go to Warhammer World on Ken Stag Do, and they made a bloody good breakfast, I've got to say. The food was lovely, and it is really nice. As we were talking about this, weren't we, Dom? It is really nice looking at all the minis in the cabinets.
Do you know, whatever you say about them, and we'll say a lot of things. A lot of people will say a lot of negative things. It was just fabulous to keep going. Whenever you go there, it's just to see a lot of very happy people playing silly games and actually loving being there.
That cashier was very, very happy when the guy in front of me spent 1,200 quid on one model.
One model.
One model.
One
Shit,
model.
shit, you not. I'm sure, and he's probably going to be the centerpiece because she saved it. But there was me standing behind her with that book for Steve, just going, I feel really poor. Just got over there. But what I loved about it was that he brought his mate along who isn't in the hobby at all, because I was listening to them to help him carry the boxes. That's it. But anyway, they had their Warhammer Fest, and the big thing that's come away from coming out is I know a lot of people are very excited about the old world, and they previewed a couple of figures. Now, for some reason, I couldn't find an actual image of the Tomb King that I could save as a JPEG. It was all weird, but I did find the Bretonian. And there he is. So this is a new Bretonian figure. I can't tell you too much about if they're going to be re-releasing the old models. What I do know is I think they said there's going to be no starter set. It's just going to be, I think, straight to rule book and army books for people. I think they're maybe just trying to get those people who've already still got their collections and just want to use them. But I think it's quite a cool model. I quite like the lantern thing. I just wish it didn't have the smoke coming out of it.
Do you know how many models are you going to see on certain forums of people with so much blood and gore coming out of that orc's head?
I didn't share it on here, but I'll tell you something in a second. I did see this one though, because we did talk about this. Me and Dom saw this, and I very nearly caved. Not this particular set, but this little game was set up, wasn't it? Warcry, the little skirmish game, and the little setup they had in there was really nice. Really but then good. Dom did actually just say, "But who are you going to play it against, and what are you going to do with it?" Which made me a little sad and reminded me who I was. And I just slunk off.
That was akin to grow up, Martin.
basically. That being said, I have recently nearly bought some GW models recently, but again, Dom at the wedding said, "But what are you going to do with them?" And I didn't. So there we go.
I do this with Elaine, but it doesn't work. It works with you.
It works with me because you just made me. You made me feel bad about myself. There we go. Moving on to obviously we bring up Reconquer a lot, and that's because we really like his models.
Unashamedly, we love the models.
So he's on to his May releases, and he's doing some slingers, and they're very cool.
They are fantastic.
I just like again
as well. Brilliant.
The motion. I mean, again, I think it was. I think Tim previously had made a comment about the hand sculpted stuff and the digital sculpted stuff. So because you get like stuff like Paul Hicks stuff is amazing, and obviously some digital sculpting does look lifeless, and I agree with him. But I do again think it's down to a sculptor. I think the level of skill of some of these guys is fantastic. It's just amazing. So that's what he's doing there, and he's doing more terrain. So he's doing a house. So that's going to be. I mean, what I love about that is all of this stuff you see outside. You can get, they all come as separate files. So will be getting all of these. It's like the last one came with a cart, and I've been printing off loads of cart wheels that I can just sort of stick in my bases, because I like having broken cart wheels, like sticking out the ground and things. But again, he's designed this one so it can have a chimney, or it has that sort of ventilation thing on top. I can't remember what you call it. It's not a stack. I can't even think what you call it. Well, anyway, that thing up the top, and he's done all the interiors as well. But I'm not going to share it on here because I'll ask him if we can share it. Let's just say he saw the GW sculpt and decided it wasn't for him, so redid it himself in his style. And if you're one of his Patreons, it's available to everybody, and it's very because, and then just to sort of like show everybody up, he then did it unhelmeted as well. Just because. So there's been a fair amount. It's fair to say.
That's been massive. I think it's amazing stuff. And again, it's just that breadth of everything. It's extraordinary how many different. Well, just this hobby is extraordinary with a number of different ranges and models and periods and weird shit. It's extraordinary.
Let's see what people have gotten here. Vic says the company that makes Star Wars Legion is owned by the company that recently bought Lord of the Rings rights. Really?
Really?
Oh, okay. Oh, they've taken that from G. Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's interesting. What does that mean for the strategy game? I wonder.
I don't know. Alex says, do they have the classic figures from the 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy book? They did have some classic stuff in there. I can't tell if he's been sarcastic or not. They did though, didn't they? They had some exclusive miniatures. They don't sell online or anywhere else. And they had the old Realm of Chaos book from 1990 that I went back in there to get for Steve, which is when I got stuck behind the bloke for £1,200, which I'm never going to forget. John said 1,200 quid. I'm not spending that much to fly over for CrackCon. You see, we're all going well. Speaking of which, our final bit of news, Dom. Do you want to?
Oh yes, tickets for CrackCon, which is the 21st of October in Derby at Boards and Swords, will go on sale after next week's show on next Monday. So keep an eye out. We'll put the link up and all the usual stuff. We'll put it on the channel towards the end. I'll put it on the stream towards the end of the stream. And you'll be able to pick up your tickets for the 21st of October, should you wish to go.
No, absolutely. So there we go. And
then from there, we'll put up the game stuff, won't we, Martin?
That's it. That's when everyone is interested in the game and everyone is already messaged, whose messages we've probably lost. If you come back to us with what you want to play or anything you would like to take part in, then we will go from there. Right. Back over to our questions. So, no, it's not. There's a great. Yeah, I think they genuinely. I think they have got some of the classic models in there. I think that was a bit where me and Dom were hanging around. I'd just like to say as well that somebody who isn't here today just walked into the exhibition without paying and took.
Can you guess who it might be?
So there are people there to pay and they start to pay, but no, he walked straight in. Me and Dom walked straight into the bar.
We went down. We had another beer, which was the best thing to do, I think.
That was also the night.
The beer was very good in there as well. The breakfast was good, and the beer was very good.
And the toilets were clean, and everyone was happy. And then they were playing a movie soundtrack, so we sat there trying to guess what the movie soundtracks were. Right. Okay, so we're going to try and quick fire these now.
Okay. Bang.
So, bang. Which historical period have you avoided so far because you're either scared or scared it will consume you? Dom.
Oh, shoot. I have so far avoided World War One because I think I would get seriously into that. Sorry, Alex. But I just think that would just be so many cans of worms because I'd probably do Africa or one of the sort of more obscure periods, and then I'd have to do some trench stuff, and then I'd have to do 1914, and then I'd have to do air wars, and then I'd have to do naval war. You can see where it's going. So no.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it's Rome. It's Rome. It nearly happened with the Carthaginians, but I stopped before I got to the Romans because I know that once I open that, I go, that's never that Pandora. That'll never close. I mean, to be fair, this happened with the Wars of the Roses. I've already said the only reason I didn't start the Wars of the Roses was because I knew that it wouldn't end. I got to the point with my Napoleonics where that's basically ended. I add to it every now and then. The Wars of the Roses is stuff still happening. Dom, you know there's things happening, which is a reason I haven't painted as much recently. But that's going to be restarting again very soon. So for me, if I had to pick someone else, it would probably be Romans. And if we're going to talk Romans, I'd say Republican Romans.
I was going to say real Romans, or
I would like to. The project that I very nearly did before the Carthaginians, the one that I would be Caesar's campaigns. I'd love to do a series of videos and literally go through Caesar's campaigns, go through the histories, and go through them.
Italian wars, because 96-figure metal pipe blocks would make you go, how much?
See, I think I had this idea that James just sits there now with an Ovaltine in the corner and a blanket and a rocking chair. How much? And it just keeps on coming back. Where are we? The next one from James. Quite a good question. How has your painting style developed since starting the hobby?
Massively. To me, the more, it's like anything. We talk about this again quite a few times. Is the more you paint, funny enough, the better you get at it. And it's like anything. The more you practice, the better you get at it. And I just think, just techniques. Well, bear in mind when I started figure painting, it was still not enamels and all that kind of stuff. So it's changed a lot in terms of the sorts of paints we have and what we can do with it. But I think for me, I've learned better how to control washes and do highlights after washing and that kind of stuff that I previously would never have done. So yeah.
Okay, I would say I've become a bit more. I'd say more adventurous, and but I've also started thinking about things a lot more because when people do highlights, you see all these pro painters and they're going, imagine the way that the light is falling. No, most people don't do that. They just go, that bit's the top. That bit's the top. However, I have started to think a bit more like that, if to get the effects that I want, and I've really found myself doing that with the Crusades because I've tried to go for this really stark contrasting sort of high tones and low tones, so I have done the zenithal thing, but I've not done it the way that everybody says you should do it, by doing it at 45 degrees. I do it top down, so there's very stark shadows, and that's because I do use the contrast paints, but obviously I'd use a whole bunch of other like methods as well. So that would probably be the best thing. I've started actually, so I say, considering I don't know, more advanced techniques, and actually by going, oh, maybe I can do these. Let's see what the chat is saying. Craig says, for him, painting is the hardest part to leave. I tend to get involved in layering thin washes, so time consuming. One of the hardest parts can be actually walking away and saying, no, enough is enough. I think definitely. I've done that a couple of times. With Warwick, I had to go, nope, I need to walk away now. Because should I add any more? No, I did. I send a lot of pictures to a lot of people.
Because there's a danger you're going to ruin it, isn't there? If you get too far into it, you can start. Oh, personally,
yeah,
I don't. I'm quite happy to walk away from a figure once I've done it and it looks satisfactory to me. But I just think if you can get really, really fancy into it, I would imagine I would have a tendency to then hash something up, and then it would be, oh shit, I wish I'd done
that. Alex is going to get you at CrackCon.
At this rate, at CrackCon, my diary is going to be full of all sorts of games people are going to make me do, which is kind of scary.
Lionheart.
Might not go, maybe. Maybe I just won't go.
I think you should. Napoleonic period, because uniforms is starting with the French and try not to overthink it. Yep. Agreed. Leslie said Gangs of Rome. I've already got Gangs of Rome, mate. I've already got it. But it's up there and I don't paint it because I know what will happen. I'll paint it to scenery. What have we got here? I did just see a question just before we get to to everybody. There was a question about Vimto, which was aimed at Stee, and we're going to hold that question for Stee. I don't feel adequately. How should we say?
I'm very pleased you took that one out because can I confess? Now he's not on. Since he's not, I've never even drunk Vimto. I've never tried Vimto.
Oh no!
There you go.
Oh, no.
I would admit that now in public. Now he's not here.
Victor says, what do we think about the contrast speed paints and do we use them? Yes, we both use them. I don't know about Dom. I prefer the contrast paints to speed paints personally.
Yes.
But I think the contrast paints for the best of it can't be any one solution that they were kind of promoted as. I think they're just another tool in the box with standard paints, quite frankly. So to get the best out of everything, you need to mix your mediums.
I like the Express as well. The Express paints.
I haven't tried those yet.
I like them. They're not as contrasty, if that makes sense, but they are still very good. I like them.
Tim says he's noticed a change in Minds' style of painting over the last 3 years. I'm curious and concerned. I don't stick tough to. I've done that a couple of times, and then I stopped doing it. I saw the light. I'm kind of curious now. What does it say? This is my favorite question of the night. So I'm sorry. So these are all great questions, but Alex actually did come in with a cracking question here. What is the worst thing about your favorite set of rules?
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
I mean, is your favorite set?
I would probably say Sharp Practice is my favorite rule set as a whole. So I'm going to annoy Alex here again for about the third time tonight. Sorry, Alex. Nothing personal.
Well, he put this question out, so
I know. I hate the random movement. Because I know he loves that. But for me, when I'm going to move that unit forward and I roll 2 dice and I roll 3 inches or something stupid, that just drives me mad. So I hate that. That's the bit I hate about them. But I think, on the whole, Yeah, I think just because there's such a difference, if you move 12 inches or you move 2 inches, it just seems wrong somehow. That's a bit that annoys me about Sharp.
Okay.
What about you?
What's the worst? I mean, it's really hard. I find it really hard to say what my favorite set of rules is. I guess I'd probably have to say probably the one that I've probably known most for, which would be Hail Caesar. I guess I do really love Hail Caesar as a game. The worst thing about it, funny, I don't mind the commands. People seem to get really annoyed about, you can, screw up a command roll and, stuff stops acting. So, oh well, buy more miniatures, game with more stuff, then you got more chance of stuff time. The worst thing, probably. I was trying to think of something. I added a bit about exploding cannons, so I can't really say that. And then, to be fair, that doesn't bother me.
I like the activation of Hail Caesar. I think that's I think it's a good system. I like it.
Tick, 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 tick. I guess I don't really know. I guess the way I think Disorder should have a more of an effect in game. I think you should be able to do more with Disorder. It pisses me off that you just can't do anything. I think you can either move backwards and you get to shoot with modifiers and that, but I think there should be some other options available to you, especially if you've got a commander nearby, because you can't remove Disorder unless you have the elite ability. I think you should, if your commander is nearby, and again, there's no reason you couldn't add this in. I think they should be able to try and rally that Disorder off of you the same way that they can rally a casualty. So if they do a rally order on someone, then they could remove the Disorder. It bugs me sometimes the way that, because especially in, like, say, Black Powder, it's just a 6 and you're like, oh god, and like that game with Pike and Shot against Miller, and I'm not saying I disordered his entire line in the first turn and it didn't go anywhere or do anything, and that's fair enough if you're playing the game over, say, 8 to 12 turns.
Yeah,
but
it's because it's quite short, isn't it? And if your unit is disordered on the second turn and then can't move again until the third or the fourth turn, you've missed a large part of the game.
I have seen some people suggesting 2 6s. I mean, if you're rolling 1 dice for shooting, you do need to roll 2 6s. But I have seen other people suggest that as a general rule that you need 2 6s in the hits to Disorder. So
I prefer the Hail Caesar one where you actually do the break test when you roll a 6.
Yes, you actually roll a break test because, and also there's a chance of them legging it if you're really bad.
I mean, it can be brutal. It can be absolutely brutal, but I think I prefer that just to the automatic Disorder on a 6.
Absolutely. Let's quickly nip back to the chat to see what's occurring. Shaco says he's with you. He loves sharp practice, but he hates random movement.
Good on you.
And
we won't talk about what Alex is saying about that.
Oh, it's variable, not.
Yeah, whatever. Still frigging annoying.
What else have we got here? Oh god, they're all going through it now. I'm just going, average dice at risk. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I mean that's another option for sure. You could use average dice. That's absolutely sure. Or just have a fixed movement rate. That's all I'm saying. Just saying that.
Oh god, what's going on in the comments? It's all descending. It's all descending.
Well, Victor's got another question, which I think is similar.
Yeah, go for it.
There you go. What do you think about pre-measuring? Do you think it's a good or bad mechanic? Personally, I love to play system without pre-measuring.
It depends what kind of game it is. Mass battles, I like pre-measuring. However, skirmish games, things like Dead Man's Hand or Saga, I don't. That smaller scale, I just find it more, because I find it more individual what people are doing. Does that make sense? And I think it's like in Dead Man's Hand, you can only measure the first movement anyway. You can't measure the 2 after it if you're moving 3 times. You can only do the first one. That being said, I still think very, very fondly of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle things where you have to guess the range for the catapults, because I was rubbish at it, but my opponent, who is a handyman, was just amazing. That's exactly 18.5 inches. Smack, So I think big mass battle games. I go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with pre-measuring, to be honest, but it is great fun when I'm playing Jonathan. The game doesn't allow pre-measuring. He can't handle it. He almost has a meltdown, which is particularly good on Dead Man Hand, as you say, because you can do that one measure at the beginning, but that's all you're allowed to do. He just can't get his head around that. It makes me laugh every single time. This is very, very funny.
I'm just going to answer Alex's question here. A bonus question: why wasn't the registered organisation Britannia Archaeology represented at the recent CIFA conference? When was it, Alex? Was it last weekend? Because I would have been at a wedding. If it was the weekend before that, I was moving. If it was the weekend before that, I was drunk in Nottingham, being held hostage in a taxi, which is a story for another time. Because young Miller decided that he didn't have any money, and then I got taken to a cash point by a very angry taxi driver, and it turned out Miller had money all along. Also, I didn't want to go. So, let's carry on with some more questions. Jack, does available terrain influence project choices? No, not for me.
No,
I'll make it. If I can't buy it off someone, I'll make it. So no. It's a quick, easy one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours do we paint a week? Now, Dom, you've mentioned this before, because you essentially sort of dip in and out.
Yeah, a normal week, shitloads, basically. Because I've mentioned this many times, I generally sit at the dining room table when my wife is watching a lot of crap on telly, and I'll paint. So what's that? Probably 4 or 5 hours a night, maybe. 4. Call it 4 hours a night, because she watches an awful lot of trash telly. At least 5 nights a week, plus adding a bit more. So probably, I don't know, what does that work out? 25 hours, 30 hours? I don't know, something like that. I don't tend to paint much of the weekend. That's the only thing. Because then I'm actually doing something.
See, I would say, present, circumstances aside, I probably do 12 hours a week, maybe 10 to 12 hours a week. That's that can vary depending on what I'm doing with the channel. If I'm editing loads of stuff, then I won't get the same amount of time in painting. It's a trade-off, because it's all part of the hobby. I know there's another question in a minute that's sort of along the same lines, but I have to. I kind of work on little goals, like I want to get this unit done, then I get that unit done, and I'll move on to the next thing. So I would say 10 to 12 hours. Sometimes though, I manage to get more in.
The other thing I would say to you, never measure yourself on painting hours on how much other people do. Just do whatever you can afford to do time wise. I mean, if you've got time in your hands and you've got the opportunity, paint. If you haven't, doesn't matter. Play games. Go out in the fresh air occasionally. That's always a good idea.
I'm just going to answer his question. He said it was in the week and not the weekend. If it was in the week, I was working, or moving out, or being shouted at while I move boxes. But I will be there. I'll be there next time, and we can discuss our battlefield archaeology trip to Waterloo. This is an interesting one from Graham. We know we've got some YouTubers in the comments as well. So if you recorded the battle report, spent time editing it, then uploaded it, what would stop you sharing it? Have you ever done that?
The only time I haven't done it, I haven't uploaded a game, there was 2 I think that come to mind. One was when I look back at it, I thought actually it was a really boring game, so I just didn't bother putting it up. And the second time, when the noise we were in the club I play, once every month we have to play in one of the smaller areas up in the top of the building, and it gets very, very busy in there, and very noisy, and that time it was too noisy, and I just decided not to bother. But I do know what Graham's referring to, and it was a game against me. I think he didn't broadcast, because we spent the game playing Saga, and we spent the whole game and me going, "Are you sure that's right, Graham? Your elephants seem far too strong, far too powerful." No, it's absolutely right. And I bear in mind, I haven't played Saga for about 3 years up to that point, and he absolutely trashed me. Absolutely jumped up and down on my bits and everything. It was horrible. And then he sent me a message about 3 days later, said, "I might have got those rules wrong that you were talking about." So he didn't, and he decided he wouldn't put it up.
No, that's fair enough. I could think of 2 that I didn't put up. One it was the first proper playthrough of a game, and we just got enough of it wrong. I was just like, this whole video is just going to be pointless because all the comments are just going to be filled with crowd. I hadn't edited it by that point. I just watched some of the videos back. I'm like, nah. And the only other one was we did one, and we did 3 Dead Man's Hand games back to back. And the problem was, by the third one, I was shattered. And it comes over in the video, and I looked at the footage and listened to it, and I just thought, I just don't want to put it up because I'm tired. I think I'm getting a bit grouchy in part of it. My opponent's grouchy as well. I was like, that's not fun. So I just didn't bother putting it up in the end because it's meant to be fun. And my sorry, sure, some people would like to have videos of people arguing. I didn't really want to have that up. I just didn't think it'd be very fun editing it either. Like, I have to keep on hearing myself grumbling about something. I think I lost. If it makes anyone better, then I definitely lost. Let's have a quick look that says Stormer still says I'm the boss. Yes, I all right, okay. I'll
chill.
I didn't know you were such a proponent of the IFA. Let's see. Alex actually says he did it once in the Gaslands game, which was shit and got loads of town votes. It's still live but unlisted. Shaco says he did that once. He filmed a solo game of Mud and Blood, so boring he eventually just deleted it.
That's not good when your own game is you're bored with it, is it? It's really not.
Yeah. They're just going back and forth over there. So it does happen, but I think you get into a swing of things, don't you? But you know very quickly if a game is going south and what you need to do to.
I think so, and generally I think. Yeah, if you're having a good game, then it will come out. And like you said, if you're not feeling it in the game, then the audience won't. So just don't bother recording it.
I'm going to move on to James's question because that was along the same kind of lines. Is when it comes to the hobby and YouTube, what is the motivation? Does the hobby lead to videos, or is it YouTube that drives the hobby now? See, we chatted about this as well. So for me, if it comes to battle reports, then I do like to play battle reports that I know people like watching on the channel. It's more enjoyable. No one wants to put up a battle report and just get slated and get negative comments going, oh, that was crap, because the amount of time you've got to put into editing the bloody thing and then playing it, and no one wants to hear that. That being said, my channel has always been based on my hobby. I can't really think, obviously 0 to 100 hours I'll send to preview, but I don't go after, say, the latest game. I play the games that I want to play, and it just so happened that other people enjoy those, or they've gone and bought them, which is quite fun. I wanted to introduce people to games like Dead Man's Hand. I didn't see it played enough, in my opinion. And now loads of people play it, not because of me, but just it just seems to have opened up, and other people came out and said, "Oh yeah, no, I played this," and that I enjoy it as well. So, what about you, Dom? What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, my channel is basically supposed to be my gaming journey, so it just covers whatever I'm doing. So in that sense, it doesn't influence it. We talked about this a few times, but I think if I was determined to get as many views and subscribers as I possibly could, well, I think we all know the sort of games that are popular, and you could just do that and drive up the numbers. Would it be any fun to do that? No, probably not, because that's not the way I play. It's just literally, 1 minute I'll be playing some Hell Caesar, and then I'll play some Sharp Practice, and then something else will come up, a bit of Windy Boat Game or something, just because that's what I'm doing. That said, I do feel a certain amount of pressure's not the right word, but I do think about doing videos, and I think, I really must do something on this because it will make a good video, or I better, haven't done a battle report for a while, I better do one, that kind of stuff. So there's a certain amount that does influence the hobby to that degree.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, there's a certain people come to your channel for a reason. They like the content that you put out, or they specifically like your battle reports or your hobby updates or your painting videos. So there is that kind of thing. If you don't do, one of those, on a regular basis, that those regular people who come back to watch, not even necessarily subscribers, because not everybody who views it as a subscriber. All stats show that it's views that count really over subs. But in terms of sort of the algorithm, etc. But it's I think there's a few, like I did some Lord of the Rings games, and I loved playing it, but they did absolutely shit. So I just kind of thought, well, I'm still going to carry on playing Lord of the Rings. I'm just not going to bother filming it, because why add the extra time and stress of editing it into it if people aren't going to enjoy it? They've got plenty of other channels they can go to. I'll still play that game. I'll still enjoy that game. I just don't have to worry about editing content around it.
And it is a ball ache at times, editing stuff, particularly battle reports, isn't it? They can take a long time.
Yeah.
So I hear you. Yeah.
No, exactly. It's not. It's absolutely. Just say Stormasil says, if you were shilling, people would soon know. I think I've missed.
I think he's talking about the fact if you were pretending, if it was sort of, if you were doing it for the sheer, monetization.
I
think they would. And I think, if you look at anybody's channel that you follow yourself, generally it's those that are most enthusiastic or excited, they're doing something interesting. The ones that are just really, really boring, you just don't bother. Maybe as a subscriber, you don't even watch half the time. So,
yeah. No, that's, that's, I suppose that's the thing. I'd recommend things, but I'd never recommend anything I don't, just because somebody sent it to me. In fact, I've been offered. You get offered things, and I've just said to people no, because there's no interest for me whatsoever. I got offered something involving giant spacemen, but I said no. So I just didn't.
They should have come to me. I love that weird shit, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
James says, I filmed at Hammerhead, but wasn't enjoying editing. It made me realise that YouTube is a hobby in the hobby, and I should focus on enjoying it first. Yeah, funny enough, I sort of thought about filming a salute, and actually was so enjoying just wandering around talking to people and looking at the games and doing things. I just didn't even bother. So,
Yeah, do you know what I did it still? I just did a couple of little videos, then took loads of photos, and then just wandered when we went and just wandered around. So I had I've got a little bit of footage, and I'll just chuck it into a hobby update. There we go. Like when you do your loot haul thing, I just thought I'd chuck it into that. There is no way we are going to get through all of these questions, and I need to put up some of the viewers' pictures. So if your question has not been shared, we do apologise, and we will try and keep it for next time.
Well, we could do it next week if it's only the two of us again.
It might only be the two of us again. In fact, there's a strong possibility it might just be the two of us
Ken's supposed to be flying back into the country, so he'll probably be banned from being readmitted for being ginger.
He'll forget.
It's entirely possible, let's be honest.
Oh dear.
Right.
Viewers'
pictures.
Right. Viewers' pictures. So guys, as always, it has been a plethora of awesome content over on the Facebook group. Remember, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, just click the link down below. Answer Dom's questions free. They can be as sarcastic as you like, as long as you answer them.
At least I know you're human then and not a bot. So that's fine.
And then you'll gain access. And there's been some awesome stuff. So we'll start with Andy. You're going to have to tell me what this is, Dom, because I don't know.
It is a Churchill ARVE tank.
And it's very cool.
But it's not finished. It hasn't got a base.
But would you base it going over a trench or something?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, I would. Yeah, that's the way it should be done.
It is very cool.
There's no other answer, but it is very good.
It is very cool. Other Andy, there's quite a lot of this. People get ready for What a Cowboy. So got the the Great Escape plastics there. Craig put up some awesome Wars of the Roses stuff, but I thought I'd share this one of the Duke of Norfolk.
Holy moly, look at
Duke of Norfolk, because I don't think the Duke of Norfolk gets enough love. So I thought I would share this one, but that is very, very cool.
Wow.
Lovely stuff. Dom, he's been doing his ECW.
Oh, nice
stuff. You haven't started painting yours up yet, have you? You said you
No, I haven't. No. I'm planning to, but yes.
That is very nice work. Very cool. Now I put this one up. This is awesome. So Gaza has done a basically like a vampire ghouly thing with but I love the stretchy, skinny blood effects coming from his teeth.
Awesome, isn't it? I have no idea what it is, but it's just brilliant.
It's cool. But do you know what I like about it? It's quite colourful because when people do like these kind of creatures of the night, but they sometimes end up just quite dull and but it's really colourful. I like the addition of the flowers around the gravestone at the bottom. So that's very cool. Hideyoshi Darrell, he's a more lovely.
He does such lovely work, doesn't he?
He does. It's the creams. I love those. The sort of the creams. They're very, very nice. And is it? No, it's 3 bases. No. There is 6 bases. He's just
they are
really
6 bases.
Well.
Yeah.
They're just really, really nicely matching. Very cool. Now, James Front, you'll be happy to know he agrees with you. It's not finished until it's based.
There we go. Good man. Well done.
I think he is a convert, which is awesome. Ian has basically he decided if I remember he needed a centerpiece for his orcs, and that's definitely I think that ticks the boxes. That is very, very cool. Martin has been doing some late Romans, Arthurians.
Very good, man.
Very cool. I do love those figures. They are very, very cool. Hopefully, we're going to see quite a few more of those coming, especially if we can get some ducks on the stream. That would be awesome. Ken Marshall has done some 7-year war Hungarians. I had to double take at least for a minute because I genuinely thought that they were 2D for a minute because that they were like art, because they're so well done. I thought they were the art.
I thought the whatever scale. Yeah, I know the ones you mean.
Yeah.
They're
lovely, absolutely lovely. They look fantastic.
Now talking about period that would scare me. That's one. Just all that lace. I mean, just scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Klein over in the States. Now he had a Napoleonics game, but I just wanted to share the table because I loved it. I just thought it was awesome. Well, it's very, very cool.
That's artificial grass, isn't it?
Yeah, like
AstroTurf.
Very, very cool. And then you see what I mean? But he's got a lahey stump down there. See, it's got many, many uses.
He hasn't got a pile of dead Frenchmen like you have.
What instead of the back gate? He might have. I don't know. You'd have to go and look in the barn. Maybe that's where it is. That's where I keep my dead Frenchman. I imagine he'll probably have a battle report up. Miller found a classic GW troll in a stash of stuff, so he painted it up. Robin, notice how the background doesn't require anyone to hold it up. Okay, that's very true. I'll ask Haley if we can wallpaper with the sort of the sky setting. I'm sure she'll agree.
It's very reasonable.
It's why I can't. Yeah, it's why we can't play big games because Robin's arms don't reach far enough to hold up the stuff. But yeah, classic GW troll. Oh, I love it.
I love that troll. That's brilliant. Lovely.
It's the same expression he had on his face in Nottingham when he was pissed.
It was.
Next up, we have Nathan, who's been doing more Burgundians.
Oh, nice.
Very, very cool.
Very nice.
Very cool. I love the bases.
You're so predictable.
Am I? I'm going to do it. No, you don't know. In the next project I do, I might not use those bases. Might use Sabbath. I'll use Sabbath bases just to.
Don't believe you.
No, you're right. It won't. I'll never do it. Paul has been working on some hoplites.
Oh,
I like the photo montage. That's good. If people want to put up montage photos like this, that's good because we can get more on the stream.
We only put one on, so you get multiple that way. So that's good.
Way. So well done. Very, very nice. That's what you want. That looks like a phalanx. Very nice.
Certainly. Yeah.
With the release of the is it the Nimitz game, Robin has been preparing for it, and I've seen some pictures already. But he's doing his hand painted, hand drawn map for a table. I can't remember what size it is. I think it's a good couple of foot.
You've got a new house, Martin. Couldn't you put that as convince Haley that's a new design in your bathroom?
The tiles
for
the tiles on the floor.
Yeah.
I could try. That's very cool. I hope you got an A in geography, mate, because that looks awesome. I have to share it. Friend of the channel, Sean, did first cool stuff. Forget the Confederates, for Gettysburg. I mean, we've all seen Sean's work, and it is lovely.
Isn't that for a game he's doing at Partisan? I think
it is. Yeah,
that's what he said.
Lovely stuff. Look at that. Very cool. All metal. So very,
of course,
very nice.
Because wouldn't you?
Steve has painted up Doc Ock from a moment, which is cool because he's a classic. I love Doc Ock as a character. Very, very cool. I like it. It's a classic one as well from the comics. Steve Haynes had a game of Sharp Practice. Now I went through Steve's photos, and I like this photo much because this one as well is like that looks just like a photo from an actual battle. Very, very cool.
Steve doesn't do anything by halves. They are just brilliant, his battles.
Lovely stuff. Stig, Jesus. They're so good. They're so clean. Heraldry is so clean, mate.
How does he do those lines so straight? I don't get it. Oh.
They are lovely, aren't they? Really nice. Those are for the Barons War. Something I will be getting into later this year. Although, to be fair, I'm kind of already into it. I just and then finally more. So Steve Evans, we had a few people who've been playing What a Cowboy, but here was Steve's set up for a game. Very, very nice as well. So hopefully we're going to because I know I've seen a few reviews of it so far. There's a couple of battle reports out there, so hopefully a few more.
I like that mine entrance. That's really cool.
That is cool. Is that handmade?
I don't know. I don't know where that's from, but it's really good. I like that.
Very cool. Very, very nice. I thought you said talk about trains.
Yeah, there is that as well.
He's not here. We don't have to talk about them. He's not here. But wow. Anyway, remember to go over and post up your pictures in the PCP group. And remember as well, as I've already said, we are sponsored by Boards and Swords. So head over to the Boards and Swords website to check out all of their hobby goodness over there. And when you exit and you pay, use the code PCP5 for 5% off the already very generous discount, which is which in some cases is 15%. So you're getting 20% off. So head over there, have a look at that. And remember to tell them that you came from here. Although, to be fair, if you're entering that code, they will know that anyway. But there we go. There we go. It's already 10 o'clock, Dom.
Good God.
And there was only two of us.
I know.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Awesome.
Well, one of us for 5 minutes.
Well, I was going to say one at one point, but that's fine. It's all good. Oh, it's a war base. It's mine entrance. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Plus
guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's from my point of view, it's nice to be back. I have missed it. I can't bring myself to watch it live when I'm not part of it. So I was like, I know I could be in the comments, but also I think that Hayley would have shouted at me when she realised that I was still saying, you're not meant to be doing it. Anyway, guys, next week we'll be over on Dom's channel, and I can't remember what your chosen subject was, Dom.
I've forgotten as well, to be absolutely honest, but we'll put it up later.
We'll put it up. So head over there.
Oh, what would you teach your 20-year-old self about gaming? That was it.
Cool. And of course, if we run out of things, we've got about 100 more questions.
We could just do all the questions again that we haven't done from tonight. Maybe.
I thought you said just go from again because we'll have forgotten the answers.
Well, that's true. All the different results.
Guys, thank you so much. Remember, come back next week. Your CrackCon tickets will be on sale after the stream. There'll be more details in there, along with the normal news, pictures, and hopefully I'll have painted something. So we can talk about that. Otherwise, it's over to Dom to paint another 4 units before next week. It's fine. It's fine, mate. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time, and we will see you all again next week. So
have a great week, everyone.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.